Imagine being trapped in a steel tube, 300 feet below the ocean's surface. It is pitch black. The air is thick with the smell of diesel, sweat, and rotting food. Above you, British destroyers are dropping depth charges. Every explosion feels like a giant hammer hitting your skull. One small leak, one tiny crack in the hull, and the ocean will crush you instantly. Out of 40,000 men who served in German U-boats, 30,000 never came home. This wasn't just a submarine, it was a floating grave. In the early years of World War II, Winston Churchill admitted that the only thing that truly frightened him was the U-boat peril. These grey wolves were designed to starve Great Britain into submission by sinking every merchant ship in sight. At first, it was called the Happy Time. The crews felt like elite hunters. But as the Allies fought back with new technology, the hunters became the hunted. To understand how these men survived, or didn't, we have to go inside the iron coffin. A U-boat was about 220 feet long. That sounds big, until you realize that 50 men lived inside it, squeezed between engines, torpedoes, and batteries. Space was so limited that sailors slept in hot bunks. When one man got up for his shift, another took his place in the warm, sweaty bed. There was no privacy. There were only 2 toilets, and for the first half of the mission, one of them was used to store extra food. Fresh food rotted within days in the humid, salty air. Bread grew white fuzz. The smell? It was a toxic cocktail of unwashed bodies, diesel fumes, and the stench of the bilge. After weeks at sea, your skin would turn a sickly grey from the lack of sunlight. But the physical discomfort was nothing compared to the psychological torture. When a U-boat was spotted, it had to dive deep and go silent. The Allied destroyers would circle above, pinging the hull with sonar. Ping, ping, ping. It was the sound of your approaching death. Then came the depth charges. If they exploded close enough, the pressure would pop the rivets off the hull like bullets, killing men instantly. Light bulbs would shatter, leaving the crew in total darkness as water hissed through the seams. You couldn't fight back. You could only sit, pray, and wait for the air to run out. Most of these sailors were just kids, teenagers who had been promised glory. By 1943, the average lifespan of a U-boat was only a few missions. We often talk about the machines of war, but these were sons and brothers. They lived in a state of constant, low-level panic for months, only to meet a terrifying end in the cold, dark pressure of the abyss. They didn't die for a cause they understood. They died because they were trapped in a tube they couldn't escape. The U-boat war was a brutal chess match played with human lives. It remains the deadliest branch of any military in history. The Iron Coffin wasn't just a nickname, it was a mathematical reality. Today, hundreds of these steel tombs still sit at the bottom of the Atlantic, silent reminders of a war that was won and lost beneath the waves. If you found this look inside the U-boats gripping, hit the like button. It helps us tell more of these forgotten stories. Subscribe for more deep dives into history's most intense battles. What war machine should we cover next?